DJ Ryan.
Yeah. DJ Ryan in the house with Todd Miller.
This is the rave episode of your.
It is. I think we're going to be spitting fire on this one, Todd. I feel it coming.
Yeah.
All right. Welcome, everybody. It's today's episode of Your Daily Scrum. I'm professional Scrum trainer Ryan Ripley. That gentleman over there is professional Scrum trainer Todd Miller. We hope you don't mind. We're having a little fun. We just came out of a pretty big class today. Mm-hmm. We're teaching the product owner course this week and feeling a little silly. And so I hope you don't mind a little DJ action. But we do have a cool question that came out of the class. And we thought everyone would find it interesting too. So how does a Scrum team handle carryover work, Todd?
Yeah.
Well, actually, let's start there. What is carryover work? Let's define the term so that we're real clear on what we're talking about here.
Yeah. So here's my interpretation, right? You correct me if I'm crazy here, but carryover work generally, when I hear people talk about it, it means product backlog items that were in the sprint backlog that were not complete.
Yeah. So it's work that just didn't make it to done. It's not part of the increment, but we're at the end of a sprint. Right. So when we get there, my initial thought on this, Todd, is we refine that work real quick, maybe as part of maybe right at the end of sprint review, we kind of get together as a Scrum team and all right, let's figure this out, throw it back on the product backlog. Product owner might do some ordering of it. And then we just wait for the next sprint to address the work, right?
Yeah. We go into sprint planning and we talk about it, right?
And then that carryover work that and it's actually not carried over. So it's a misnomer, right? We're not carrying work automatically into the next sprint, right? That work goes back on the product backlog and it fights its way back into the next sprint compared to everything else on the product backlog and the stuff that we added and changed and modified during sprint review, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So we take those PBIs, who cares if work was done on, we put them in the product backlog. So can I ask you a question, Ryan?
Oh yeah.
Why do we have to talk about this so much?
Because I think the context of this particular question was, well, we've laid out the next 5 sprints. Mm-hmm. And if there's carryover work, there's dependencies downstream. I think we have to talk about this because there are a lot of Scrum teams out there that are trying to sprint over waterfalls. Mm-hmm. They're trying to figure it all out up front. And I think this is why we actually were able to write a book with all these anti-patterns that really were not embracing complexity. Complexity is your friend. Scrum helps you make sense of your friend, right? It tells you where you're at. It tells you what's going on in your product. It tells you what you need to change. Embrace that. If you're just trying to follow what is a release train plan? Is it like 3 months now?
Yeah.
I don't recall the exact number. They've updated it a few times. You can't follow that plan.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're doing obvious or complicated work. Now, if you're doing obvious work, then these frameworks are too expensive for you anyways. If you're doing complex creative work, that plan's going to get jumbled anyways. Carryover is not going to happen. The dependencies you thought you had, those are ghosts that you're seeing. Those aren't real things. There's a huge gap between, I've been talking about this a lot lately in classes, a huge gap between expectations and realities that you're not even considering anymore, trying to plan that far out. I think that's where part of it comes from.
Well, and you know what this is usually followed by, Ryan? It's usually followed by a measurement that's put into place, plan versus actual.
Yes.
And I cannot think of a measurement that causes more terrible behavior than plan versus actual. Maybe velocity, right? But plan versus actual, meaning how many PBIs did we plan versus actually get complete? I can't think of a way that you can do a better job of lowering quality, demotivating people than doing plan versus actual when you're dealing with complexity, right? You're coping with complexity and you're forcing people to come up with plan versus actual. I can't help but think that that is just a motivation killer and it's just a bad metric. And I mean, the reality of it is, I said this earlier today, and I think it's really true, is that optimism doesn't finish products, reality does.
Right.
Right. And so, like, why do we care about plan versus actual in the complex domain and knowledge work in general? What would we do? It means nothing to me.
I don't know why, because it says below that it's a terrible metric. Why do we care about it?
We didn't.
All right, everybody, we've spit a little fire today. I think we're going to call this one done. Carryover work's not guaranteed. It shouldn't be happening. Emergence is your friend. Use it. We use empirical process control in Scrum for a reason. Embrace it. What do you think? Have we gone too far? Have we said too much?
Well, let's focus on the sprint goal.
Yeah. Sprint goal is achieve your sprint goal and you're winning. Yeah. What do you think, though? Leave us a comment below. Hit that like and subscribe. Todd, 50% of the people watching this video are not subscribed.
I'd like that to see at least move to 60%.
I'd love to see that. Yeah. What? Not subscribed or subscribed?
Subscribed.
Okay, subscribed. 60% this week. Let's move that number up, everybody. Hit that like and subscribe button. Know when we drop a new video, we're releasing Scrum Guide 2020, Craft Brewed Agile, fixing your Scrum, your daily Scrum, fixing your Kanban, fixing your Agile metrics, and a whole lot more coming your way. Always know when we drop a new episode by hitting that like and subscribe. Check out the socials. We've dropped a few extra videos in here as well. And go forward. Have a good day. We hope this information helps. Let us know in the comments if it did. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Cheers. See you, everybody.